The militants laid siege to a government EDI complex in Pampore area of Jammu and Kashmir. The encounter continued for several hours. It began early this morning when these militants managed to enter one of these buildings. They, as per the sources, crossed the river Jhelum right behind the EDI complex in a boat and then sneaked into the rear side of this complex. The militants also set the building on fire and were continuously engaging the security forces.
At 6 a.m. on Monday morning, the stillness of dawn in Pampore near Srinagar was broken by the sounds of bullets. Terrorists stormed into the Entrepreneur Development Institute and remained holed up inside the building. A fierce gunfight injured an army jawan. Security was alerted at a CRPF camp located near the institute. Security forces resorted to using explosives to neutralize the terrorists.
We have been told by our sources that these militants used one of those boats to cross over from the other side of the river, and they entered the complex from the rear area. Most of the security is posted in the frontal area which faces the national highway. It is suspected that these militants perhaps wanted to mount an attack on the highway, but they were detected before that. At this point of time, there are searches being carried out all across the EDI complex.
The same building was under siege in February. 4 terrorists had taken refuge in the building, killing 2 soldiers and a civilian in the gun battle. As Pampore reels under the second encounter in 9 months, can our security agencies ward off murmurs of the town turning into a terror hotbed? With Shujal Haq in Pampore, Bureau Report, India Today.
From the political stage to mythology, BJP leaders are staking claim to the surgical strikes and reaping political benefit out of it, despite Prime Minister Narendra Modi's directive not to indulge in politics over surgical strikes carried out by the Indian Army in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir.
एक सेकंड वो जो बानर आया था लंका जला दिया, वो सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक वाला.
Prime Minister Modi has asked ministers not to politicize the surgical strikes, but quite obviously the dictate has not trickled down to BJP leaders. The party's Delhi MP used his Ram Leela role to boost the cross-LOC operation. Ram Leelas across the north have the surgical strikes and terrorism as its theme. While the BJP may not be entirely responsible for this, the opposition has hit out at what it calls the politicization of the army.
भारतीय राष्ट्रीय कांग्रेस की ओर से हम मांग करते हैं कि देश के प्रधानमंत्री माननीय नरेंद्र मोदी व भाजपा के अध्यक्ष माननीय अमित शाह सेना की शहादत का राजनीतिकरण करने के लिए फौरी तौर से माफी मांगे.
The Ram Leela that the Prime Minister will be going to in Lucknow on Tuesday has terrorism as its focus. UP Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav has joined Rahul Gandhi in accusing the BJP of milking the army's surgical strikes for political gains.
कांग्रेस से सवाल नहीं है, राहुल गांधी से हमारा संबंध अच्छा है. अगर उन्होंने बयान दिया तो कुछ सोच समझ के जरूर दिया होगा.
जो हमारे जवान हैं जिन्होंने अपना खून दिया है, जम्मू कश्मीर में जिन्होंने अपना खून दिया है, जिन्होंने हिंदुस्तान के लिए सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक किया है, उनके खून के पीछे आप छुपे हुए हो, उनकी आप दलाली कर रहे हो.
But the Ram Leela with its victory of good over evil has come at an opportune time. Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar even used the Ram Leela platform to bash the opposition for questioning the surgical strikes.
कहाँ है मर्यादा पुरुषोत्तम और कहाँ है हमारे कई पॉलिटिशियन जिनको कुछ मर्यादा बची नहीं.
Posters in several parts of UP have come up that feature the BJP's top leaders and talk of the surgical strikes. BJP chief distanced the party leadership from saying this was an enthusiasm at the local level. But the opposition is not believing that, and there is no need to the clash over surgical strikes. Even festivities around Dussehra have not reduced the political war of words. Bureau Report, India Today.
The controversy over Pakistani actors acting in Bollywood now escalates. MNS threatens filmmakers for showing their support to Pakistani actors in Bollywood. MNS has threatened filmmakers like Mahesh Bhatt and Karan Johar against casting Pakistani actors in Bollywood. MNS's film wing had shown a direct threat, saying that the filmmakers will be beaten up if they cast Pakistani actors in their films.
After targeting Pakistani actors, the Maharashtra Navnirman Sena has now trained its gun on Indian filmmakers Karan Johar and Mahesh Bhatt. The film wing of Raj Thakre's MNS has now threatened to beat up filmmakers who cast Pakistani actors and vowed that it will not let Raees, starring Pakistani actors Mahira Khan, and Karan Johar's Ae Dil Hai Mushkil that features Fawad Khan release.
ये फिल्में प्रदर्शित यहाँ पे हम करने देंगे नहीं. अगर इसके बाद करण जौहर जैसे या महेश भट्ट जैसे इन लोगों ने अगर इसके बाद अगर जरूरत भी की पाकिस्तानी कलाकारों को लेके फिल्म बनाने की, तो वो पीटेंगे. हम उनको पीटेंगे रास्ते पे.
This isn't the first time MNS has issued an ultimatum to Bollywood. As tension between India and Pakistan escalated post Uri attack and surgical strike in POK, the MNS asked Pakistani artists to leave India within 48 hours or face the consequences. Has been split right down the middle on the issue of Pakistani actors, and as hostility between India and Pakistan continues to rise, the question is, will it impact the future of Pakistani artists in India? With Mayuresh in Mumbai, Harshit Joshi, Entertainment Bureau, India Today.
This is the state of schools in the entire Srinagar and in most of the Kashmir Valley. Schools are shut and students are forced to take private tuitions at home because they don't know when the schools are going to be open next.
Three months on, the doors are still shut. Schools have not opened for a day, and students are whiling away their time at home. The agenda of the separatists are clear: keep the valley on the boil, disrupt the lives of lakhs in Kashmir, and fan the resentment against a democratically elected government. The worst affected in this battle of wits are students, bearing the brunt of the growing unrest, putting their future in peril as their studies continue to suffer.
So this is the state of schools in the entire Srinagar and in most of the Kashmir Valley. Schools are shut and students are forced to take private tuitions at home because they don't know when the schools are going to be open next.
Students, meanwhile, are looking not for a stopgap but a long-term solution.
स्कूल वगैरह कब से नहीं जा रहे?
3 महीने हो गए.
3 महीने? तो कैसे करते हैं फिर, कैसे पढ़ाई करते हैं?
ट्यूशन.
तो अभी पढ़ाई करते हो?
सर अभी नहीं, हम घर में बैठे होते हैं.
कब तक स्कूल्स खोलेंगे?
जब तक कश्मीर का हल नहीं होगा.
In Kashmir and Ladakh, just under 2 lakh students out of 15 lakh are going to school, most of them in Ladakh area, and with just a month left for exams, students are a depressed lot. Parents are a worried lot, forced to pay extra for tuitions.
हाँ, घर पे पढ़ा रही हूँ. अब काफी टाइम हो गया मुझे, 4 महीने में उसकी ट्यूशंस भी भेज रही हूँ, लेकिन सीरियसली हर वक्त मैं विंडो के पास होती हूँ कि मेरा बच्चा सेफ घर आएगा कि नहीं आएगा.
The moneyed in the valley are shifting their wards out, choosing the stability of other states over the tension of their homes. With Nishant Chaturvedi in Srinagar, Bureau Report, India Today.
Arvind Kejriwal government has came into the power with transparency as the main plan. But secret unit has busted its claim. It has been revealed that they have created a secret unit to keep eye on Babus, but no one has idea what will that do. So is the snooping the Babus was the secret behind it.
It's the latest jung in the capital, and it's over a top secret unit created by the Aam Aadmi Party government. A unit that no one knew existed till a few months ago. Arvind Kejriwal's decision to set up a feedback unit to gather information about government officials falling under the jurisdiction of the Delhi government is now under scanner. The unit's existence only came to light after Lieutenant Governor Najib Jung's office requisitioned all documents, all files passed by the Kejriwal government in the last 1 year. Documents accessed exclusively by India Today reveal that neither the LG nor top bureaucrats of the Delhi government were aware of AAP's feedback unit's existence.
Need for such an equipment can only be determined by people competent to take such a decision. And people competent to take such a decision obviously is the Home Ministry.
According to reports, the unit was formed in February this year. It comprised of 20 retired cops with expertise in investigations. The unit was independent of the anti-corruption branch, which reports to the centre, not the Kejriwal government. The unit is now reportedly in tatters thanks to LG's decision to review all Kejriwal government decisions. Following the review, unit members have not been paid for a couple of months. The probe into AAP's feedback unit has so far revealed that it is functioning under the direct control of Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal and not the Vigilance Secretary as had been proposed earlier. But the exact nature, the reporting structure of the unit is still not known. What's more, this feedback unit has not filed a single report so far. The LG's office is now trying to investigate if there were any financial irregularities in the unit and whether AAP's secret unit carried out any snooping activities. With Kumar Kunal in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
Ever since Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Jayalalitha has been hospitalized, the political bigwigs are rushing to hospital to visit her, with the latest being Kerala Governor and Chief Minister, including Puducherry Governor Kiran Bedi. Meanwhile, the doctors are maintaining that Jaya's health is improving, but she needs to stay a little longer in hospital.
Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Jayalalitha remains hospitalized for the 19th day. On Monday, VVIPs made their way to Apollo Hospital to inquire about Jayalalitha's health. Puducherry Governor Kiran Bedi touched down in Chennai to pay a visit to the Apollo Hospital and wished her a speedy recovery. Kerala Governor and Chief Minister both went to the hospital. The Governor said that her condition was improving and that she would soon take over the administration. There has been a slew of VIP visitors to the hospital. Union Minister Venkaiah Naidu had also paid a visit to the ailing Chief Minister yesterday.
I'm confident.
I've had a very good briefing, conversation with Dr. Reddy himself. He spared very valuable time for me. And he said that Amma is under very good care.
Both of us are here to visit Apollo Hospital and inquire the health of our Tamil Nadu Chief Minister.
ഇപ്പോഴത്തെ വരവിന്റെ ഉദ്ദേശം പൂർണ്ണമായിട്ടും ഇവിടുത്തെ മുഖ്യമന്ത്രിയുടെ ആരോഗ്യസ്ഥിതിയെക്കുറിച്ച് അന്വേഷിക്കലാണ്. അതറിയട്ടെ ആദ്യം.
While speculation continues over the Chief Minister's health, questions are also being raised on governance in the state. With limited information coming from doctors, Amma's supporters continue their vigil outside the hospital.
You can see the people behind me. They are from different community. They are Muslim people here. There are Christian people here. Hindus are also here. They all are praying for the speedy recovery of Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu.
Our CM is admitted in the hospital. No, they get speedy recovery for the illness to come back our Tamil Nadu to resolve the party. That's what.
Across the state too, there are prayers for Jaya's recovery. A huge number of supporters gathered in Madurai in large numbers to offer special prayers for their Amma. Bureau Report, India Today.
A young and promising perfumer and probably the best in the country, Monica Ghurde's murder case is intensifying by the day. The Goa police claim that they have cracked the case with the arrest of Monica's old security guard, but what remains to be seen is the motive behind the crime, whether it was robbery or something else.
This man in handcuffs, Rajkumar, is accused of killing Monica Gurde, India's best-known perfume designer. Singh was a security guard at Monica's apartment complex. 3 months ago, he was fired from his job, allegedly after the residents of the society lodged numerous complaints against him, including one by Monica herself. On October 6th, Monica was found murdered in her Sangolda apartment near Kalangut. She was found with her hands and legs bound, her body naked, strangled to death. Her house appeared to have been burgled. Monica was not just a perfume specialist, one of the best in the country, but also a renowned photographer and designer. Police got onto Rajkumar's trail when they traced Monica's ATM card, which he had used to withdraw money. He was on a train to Karnataka. Police allege that he has confessed to the murder and robbery was the motive. Bureau Report, India Today.